Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this news briefing for August 6, 2025. We're going to start with some good news today. A tiny village project that addresses homelessness in the Pajaro Levee is ready to launch, and there's a lot of activity going on at the site. We're very pleased to have our Homeless Services Director, Roxanne Wilson, here to talk about this project, which has been an incredible collaboration. Plus, she is going to give us a progress report on some other things. Hi, Roxanne.
Hi, thank you so much. As mentioned, my name is Roxanne Wilson. I'm the County Homeless Services Director, and I am so excited to announce updates on the 3 encampment resolution funding grants that we received from the state of California. The first we received in 2023, it was nearly $8 million. And that project is to serve people who are experiencing homelessness along the Pajaro Levee. This project is a result of a collaboration between the County of Monterey and the County of Santa Cruz. We are building 32 non-congregate modular units in the form of a village on church property in the city of Watsonville. And there's a capacity to serve 34 people at a time. We broke ground on Monday. Units have started to be delivered fully intact as of Tuesday. We're receiving them at a rate of about 4 to 6 each day, and expect the last units will be delivered sometime by the end of this week or next week. We still have a lot of work to do. We have to make connections to utility lines. We still have to go through, they have to be lifted 3 feet off the ground so that the units can survive a flood. Should there be one, it is in an active floodplain. But regardless, this has been 2 years of strategizing and collaboration, and we are incredibly proud of the work and how far we have come along on this vision that we had since actually 2022. The other projects that the other funding that we received, one was to serve people who are living along the Salinas River, one outside of King City, and the other one is right outside of Soledad. The county entered into agreements with both of those jurisdictions, and we broke ground on the King City Permanent Supportive Housing Project last week. The individuals that were removed from that encampment are temporarily being housed in a motel, and they're being prepared for their permanent housing. Which we do a plan will open as early as January of next year. And then finally in Soledad, that funding we received in 2024. There's been substantial strides in our efforts with the encampment that funding is to serve. There are 40 individuals that were targeted for service. All 40 of those individuals have been removed from the encampment site and moved to an alternative location on city property. We are also building a tiny village of modular units for those individuals as well. We do hope to break ground on those on that facility within the next 2 weeks to a month. But the biggest thing to report there is, even though people are still experiencing technically unsheltered homelessness in this provisional site, 25% of those individuals have already been permanently housed. So we housed 11 people effective August 1st. And again, that's permanent housing. We do not expect those individuals to return back to homelessness. And we have removed 380 tons of trash and debris from that particular site. I think that all of this work just goes to show that not one entity can do this work alone. It does take a lot of cooperation between the county, local city jurisdictions, sheriff's departments, police departments, public works of both jurisdictions, and in some cases, Caltrans and water resource agencies. So I'm very, very grateful for all of the partners and colleagues that we had pulled in to help make these projects come to fruition, and also to contribute to the success of us permanently closing these encampments.
Roxanne, thank you so much for going into the details on this. One of the details that really sticks out is the amount of debris that was taken out of the Salinas River area. And I know there were community concerns for quite some time about the people who were living there, about this kind of debris. I was hoping you might talk about it. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. so much has to go in for, it looks really beautiful, now like a river should, but it really took a lot of collaboration and a lot of work to get that done.
That is correct. It is very easy to just go and clean out an encampment, take the trash, throw it away. But in order for us to effectively keep it clean, we truly do have to find alternative places for people to go. And that is why I would say King City and Soledad River encampment or Salinas River encampment are successful is because we created a space for people to go while while the debris and trash were cleaned up, but also it is followed up by enforcement. So if we don't have those right structures in place and those right partnerships in place, if one entity moves faster than the other one, then encampments will return. But you are correct. This has been going on since even before I came to the county, especially with the Soledad River encampment or the Salinas River encampment right next to Soledad, sorry. And that property is actually particularly complex. There's a lot of private property. There's public lands over there. Caltrans has property over there. And I think when you're talking about multiple jurisdictions and private and public lands, it can really add to the complexities of how do you effectively close this encampment and keep it closed. But again, having all of these partners work together has been the key to our success. And it will ultimately save a ton of money because each one of those encampment cleanups, like the 380 tons of debris, that costs money for us to remove. So what a better solution for us than to just actually address the core root of the issue, which is not the encampment itself, but the fact that people are experiencing homelessness.
And I think what's really important for people to know is the wraparound services that people are getting so they don't return, so they don't go back to living in a way that required, this intervention.
That is correct. So each one of the programs that we have already stood up, the one in King City, the one in Soledad, people are receiving connections to behavioral health services. Some folks are being served by Sun Street Centers for substance use disorder. People are getting their driver's licenses replaced. We're working with the consulate to retrieve information from them to help people with getting their identity, their identification. There's a lot of work that goes into serving each one of these individuals. But again, the ultimate goal is to ensure that they have the key to their success in maintaining housing.
Roxanne, thank you so much for sharing this information. I don't see any additional questions from any of our participants. Thank you for being here. We hope to hear more good news from you in the months to come.
Thank you so much.
And now we're going to turn our attention to Car Week which is just around the corner. Car Week is our annual celebration of all things automotive, and it starts later this week. There is really something for everyone during Car Week, and we want to walk you through everything from the events to safety to how to manage the traffic. And we're going to get started with Rob O'Keefe. He's president and CEO of C Monterey, and he's going to give us a look at some of the amazing events that are happening. Hi, Rob.
Hi there. Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity. Like you said, Rob O'Keefe with C Monterey, the Tourism Bureau for the entire county. And there is so much to say about Car Week, so much so that I'm going to tag team this with Lindsay Stevens, the vice president, our vice president of marketing and communications, because I think, and especially with questions, Lindsay and her team have taken the lead. And it's been almost 10 years where we do this every year, where we meet with the event producers and then we host a media roundtable to make sure information is getting out. And most of the time, C Monterey is a promotional agency focused on promoting tourism and the quality of life for residents that come from that. But we also do things when we turn from promotion to becoming an information agency. A lot of times that happens when there's a crisis situation, whether it's a wildfire or a slip out. But in this instance, getting information out to our community, in particular our residents, working with the event producers, our local jurisdiction partners to make sure everybody knows what's going on and has the information at their fingertips. We have a great hub of information that's actually informed and improved with AI this year, which Lindsay can talk a little bit about. And of course, we work with the county and the county traffic maps. We want to be that resource along with the county, let people know where to be and when, and sometimes where not to be, particularly for residents who I've heard over the years many times a lot of appreciation because we'll tell you when things are happening. Maybe take a left turn when you normally take a right turn to get around something that's happening. But we also want to make sure that people understand the value. And I say this, I used to say this half jokingly, and I actually timed it. It's actually true. Um, it normally takes me about 6 minutes to get to Safeway during the year. During car week, it takes me about 15 whole minutes. So it does increase the time it takes me to get to Safeway. But with that this year, we're estimating about $130 million in visitor spending coming from Car Week. It's an enormous opportunity because those dollars fuel our quality of life, our communities, our residents. They go back to paying for things like first responders, parks, roads, libraries, etc. So obviously we want our residents and our community partners, such as everyone on here, to be well informed and also to recognize that because it is something that, it does disrupt a little bit, but the value to the destination is huge. And like you had said at the beginning, it virtually touches every corner of the county. We have uh, official events happening in just about every jurisdiction that we work with, and there are some unofficial activities that are taking place. Just when vintage cars come along Main Street in Salinas, I mean, that becomes a spectacle. It becomes an opportunity for community engagement. I was talking to the city manager of King City a few months ago, and they're talking about doing something not this year, but next year. So it's one of those things that unites us in a really terrific way and creates benefit for all of us. And I just wanted to put that out there sort of as a preamble and then let Lindsay fill in some details. And we both are available for questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Rob. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much. That was a great intro. So, of course, excited for the return of Monterey County Car Week. It is the largest countywide event, as Rob touched on. This year, the first official event kicks off this Thursday, August 8th, and it will run for about 10 days. Automotive events, community engagement, and of course, a lot of global attention. There's new energy and new things to do every year. This year, one of the notable new events is Woody's in the Woods at Asilomar. So old classic Woody cars over there. So a number of great new events and notable. Overall, there will be more than 35 official Monterey Car Week events across the county. And of course, like Rob was saying, these are really, really impactful events. They're globally significant. They have high economic impact, and they bring in a great visitor that comes and stays a little longer and spends a little more. Last year alone, hotel demand rose year over year, which shows us that there is more overnight guests and they're staying longer to explore beyond just the Car Week events. Car Week, just the 10 days of Car Week, accounts for 5% of all hotel rooms in the county for the year. So that's a huge, huge boon for many of our hotels. And it's not just the big hotels, it's also the smaller ones, the owner operated hotels. So we really see a lift for everyone in the hospitality community over that time. That's about 50 million in hotel revenue. And as Rob said earlier, we expect visitor spending overall, so hotel, restaurants, events, things like that, to be around 130 million this year. Car Week has grown over the years. We used to say it brought in about 85,000. Using some new geolocation data, we now know that it brings in closer to 100,000 visitors every year. So again, we realize the economic impact that has, and that's so significant. But we also recognize that that's a big lift on the community. So when we're reaching out to visitors and promoting Car Week and providing information, we always remind them to please visit responsibly and respectfully. That's a big part of what we want to communicate to them. This is our neighborhood. Please come in and treat it as you would yourself, especially our hospitality community. As summer, it can be overwhelming with this number of visitors. So reminding visitors to be respectful and kind. This year, it was also brought to our attention that we could help from an environmental perspective as well. And we are helping the county disseminate information about anyone hauling in trailers or cars and to check those for pests and different non-native species, so they're not bringing those in. So we have that messaging available as well. we talked about the economic impact of the event itself. What we also want to make sure people understand is the economic impact of the donations to charity. So Car Week brings in an estimated over $3 million every year for local charities. Concord Elegance last year alone brought in $3.1 million, which was a record-breaking year for them. Pebble Beach Company and Pebble Beach Foundation do great work in the community year-round. So the dollars that are brought in through those charitable giving opportunities around Car Week benefit our community and mostly youth and education programs throughout the year. So again, keeping in mind that yes, while residents may feel impacted in the moment, that benefit lasts August to August for sure. So Rob has mentioned it, but one single place to find all of this information is cmonterey.com/carweek. I will put that information in the chat so everyone has the link. We have a powerful new content hub on our new website with an AI trip planning tool that's geared up for Car Week to make sure that people can find different kinds of events. We have information about family friendly or free events. So this is really meant to provide information for all. And then of course we'll be on our social channels at Monterey. We'll be using that not just for promotion, but for messaging and sharing a lot of the county's messaging and all the warnings and things like that through our social channels. And so we invite everyone to follow along for the ride. We'll have some really fun event coverage on our social, and then of course all that great information getting out to visitors and the residents that follow us as well. So with that, Maya, I think I'll turn it back to you or ask for any questions.
Lindsay, thank you so much. And thank you for that great data. I think it makes people feel a lot better when they hear those numbers. If they're sitting in a little traffic and it takes them 15 minutes to get to Safeway, they can just listen to that economic benefit. If you have any If you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in chat for any of our guests. You did talk about safety, and we're going to pivot over to safety. We're very pleased to have Saul Perez with California Highway Patrol with us and Commander Andy Rosas from the Sheriff's Department to talk about safety and driving safe. Saul, we'll start with you. You guys had some pretty interesting traffic stops last year, I think, with some exotic cars. I hope you'll talk about safe driving.
Yes, good morning. How are you? How are you doing today?
Good, and you?
Doing well, doing well. So yeah, as you mentioned, Car Week is just right upon us, another year, and it feels like every year is getting bigger and bigger, and it's bringing a lot of tourists and bringing good communication skills for us in the agencies in the county. So every single year we're learning more. So it's getting bigger and bigger, but we're learning throughout the process and trying to keep on providing the highest level of safety service and security when it comes to education, enforcement, and public safety.
And so what are we warning people about when they come to Car Week?
Sure, yeah. So this year, same as last year, from things that we learned last year, we're gonna have all available resources in terms of officers out there on the road, patrolling all Monterey County. We are talking to our allied agencies, all first responders, trying to set up a good plan of communication for one another. We're reaching out to our other area CHP offices as well, so we can help cover these locations. So you're gonna see a higher presence of CHP across the county in terms of in the freeway for enforcement, inside these different events for traffic control, and again, just trying to promote public safety in terms of enforcement and also education. Our message to everyone that's going to be attending Car Week, for the travelers, just like mentioned earlier today, just be cordial with the location that you're coming in here. Drive your beautiful vehicles around, but remember, speed is the number one reason why crashes occur here in California. So let's watch out for our speed. Additionally, distracted driving and ultimately as well, drunk driving. We want to mitigate as much as possible when it comes to all those different factors and stuff. For the public out there, should you need any assistance from us, don't hesitate, call 911. If you see a reckless driver, or a possible DUI driver, please call it in. Dispatch is going to ask you for two different things. One, what's your emergency? And second, what's your location? So just have a little insight when it comes to that information. In terms for our locals, same thing, our message last year is continuing this year is patience. I understand that this sometimes brings some chaos and a lot of traffic congestion in the area. So we're asking for patience. And again, try not to bite that hook when it comes to road rage incidents. Let that individual go should an incident arise where you need first responders to be out there on scene. Again, don't hesitate in giving us a call so we can send a available officer out there.
Thank you, Saul. And I know you're kind enough to give the same information in Spanish for our viewers.
Right, yes. So como mencioné, yo soy el oficial Pérez con la Patrulla de Caminos de California. Nuestro mensaje este año es similar al del año pasado. Vamos a tener todos los oficiales disponibles en la área. Vamos a trabajar juntamente con nuestras otras compañeros de agencias en el local. Vamos a estar en comunicación con nuestras otras oficinas del Highway Patrol también para que nos ayuden con esos locales. Los que van a ver es un alto movimiento de nuestro departamento. Van a ver todos los oficiales disponibles en las autopistas, en las carreteras. También los van a ver en nuestros eventos en forma de educar, también de parar carros que están manejando a alta velocidad. Y por último, también tratando de parar gente que está manejando bajo la influencia de alcohol. Para los que vienen a disfrutar estos tiempos, nuestro mensaje es que lo hagan, pero lo hagan a salvo. No manejen a alta velocidad, por favor, no tomen y manejen. También le estamos diciendo a todas las personas que son locales que por favor tengan paciencia cuando vienen todos estos carros. Puede haber mucho más tráfico de lo normal. Por favor, mantengan la paciencia. Si una circunstancia ocurre donde deben marcar para alguna emergencia, no dude y no piense dos veces en marcarnos. Para eso estamos nosotros, para darle este servicio. So, si eso pasa, marca el 911 y pregunte por un oficial si está disponible para que vayamos a agarrar a esa persona que está manejando no a salvo o para esa persona que está manejando bajo la influencia.
Thank you so much, Saul. Really appreciate the information. And we also have Commander Andy Rosas. The Sheriff's Office is a major part of our safety aspect of Car Week. Hi, Andy.
Hi, good morning to everybody that is joining us online. And, I really can't add much more to what my partner Saul said over at CHP. I mean, he's pretty much covered everything from a safety aspect. What I can tell you is the Monterey County Sheriff's Office is definitely working closely with all of our law partners here on the Monterey Peninsula, as well as at a state and state level. And the goal here is to basically ensure a safe event for everyone. CHP definitely focuses on the roadway safety, and we're focusing on the general safety at these events. So we are working closely with our partners to ensure a safe event for everybody. I can't stress enough some of the things that Saul mentioned with CHP. Patience is definitely important. We know that this is tough for some people. You have a regular everyday lifestyle that you go by, and this does bring extra traffic and extra people to our communities, and we just need to exercise some patience with everything going on around us. One of the other things that I would really stress is to our visitors. Again, my partner at CHP mentioned this briefly, but it's really important that as you come to our Monterey Peninsula, please obey all of our laws, road laws, our local ordinances, state laws. It's very important because we are in a mandatory enforcement situation here. We are not cutting any breaks when it comes to anybody jeopardizing anybody else's safety. We ask that if you come visit Monterey County, please enjoy yourself while you're here, just as we would want to enjoy yourselves in your part of the world, wherever you happen to be visiting from. And we know that this is an international event. We have people from all over the world coming here, but please do respect the laws, the ordinances, and the rules for these events so that everybody can have an enjoyable event.
Andy, thank you so much for reinforcing that good information. And we appreciate you dropping in and sharing that with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
And so if we go from safety to cars and traffic, that is one of the downsides of having 100,000 visitors for Car Week is traffic. And Dina Northcutt from our Housing and Community Development Department is here. She is here to talk about a super helpful online traffic tracker that will help you get around whatever is out there. Hi, Dina.
Hi everyone. Let me go ahead and share my screen so that you can see what Maya is talking about. Okay, so let's see. Can you see that?
Sure can.
Okay. So this is our Car Week map of events, and it is mccarweek.com. You can kind of see that up there. That's our little URL, our specialty URL. But basically, I have a map legend. It kind of shows exactly what's going on here on the big map. So the road closures, different things like that. We also have the Car Week event schedule, which is sort of an at-a-glance thing. So basically, what we offer is some permit data. If you want specific data on different events, you can definitely call us. The ones that are in our purview, we can update you on. You can also text Car Week. I'm not sure if that's the same number. I may have to change that one to receive public safety text during Car Week. But basically, these are links to the event websites themselves. And we also have everything that's happening. So as C. Monterey was talking about, we have the Car Week kickoff on August 8th. We've got some events happening at Laguna Seca, etc., on down to actually the 14th seems to have the most events. But the way the map works, and it works perfectly on a mobile device, it actually works beautifully. But you can actually click on any one of the events. You'll see the image, you'll see the time, the date, the time, you'll have the link there, what exactly is happening, the schedules and items, and you can click the arrows here and keep going to see the events for those days. One of the things that our map offers is view live traffic. So you can actually, even on your mobile device, hopefully it's not too small and you can still see it. We partner with Caltrans, so we have use of their cameras. And then we also partner with our good friends at Public Works, and we've got their road traffic advisories and closures here. So that link is at the top of the Car Week webpage, as well as being obviously on the mobile device, etc. And you can click on any one of these. It'll take you straight to the information about the event. So you'll see the little tabs. Click there, see what's happening for each one. And then you can kind of see, just like, TomTom and, Garmin and all the other cool little things, devices that we have in our cars, you can see the traffic. So obviously red, green, yellow, etc., and kind of see what's happening with the traffic. Again, click on a cam, see what's happening now, live traffic. So you can kind of, zoom out, maybe not quite that far. We do have some events a little bit further south this time, but that's basically it. Does anyone have any questions?
Dina, thank you so much for walking through this. And I want you to talk a little bit about, if just briefly, this kind of started as one thing and really morphed into a real community service. It kind of started as finding what events are permitted and making sure that if people saw something happening, there was a place for them to go and say, hey, there's this thing that's happening. I don't think it's a legitimate event and it's a problem. And it gave them a place to call. But this has really turned into a really important community resource over the last few years.
Yes, it really has, and it's something that other jurisdictions can use. Obviously, if they have ArcGIS and they want to use it, they can use it for a lot of different other things. So maybe it's not just traffic or road closures. You can see there's some road closures happening. If I go down here, it kind of tells you what's happening. We've got different layers that we're pulling from that all combined together to make this map. So they could use it for whatever they need. It doesn't have to be just events. So again, closures and what have you. I think, if there's, times of storms coming, again, we're talking different jurisdictions. There might be some storms and things happening, if road closures or whatnot, they can go in, and this is an easy map to update if somebody wanted to do that, and they had that technology as well. It's become a really, really useful tool. In 2021, it won a CSAC Challenge Award. We're pretty darn proud of it.
And it's really helpful too. Not only will it tell you if you're, I find using it before I go somewhere during car week is really helpful, because you could be out there and then trying to figure out where to navigate, where to go. But before you leave, you can see what's going on, like what day, where the events are, what routes, you can plan your route before you go.
Well, exactly. And what I think really helps is, again, you're looking at the map real time. You're able to be like, oh gosh, I was going to go to Home Depot. Maybe I should maybe I should do that tomorrow, or maybe I should, go down General Gym more and get over that way. It's just really helpful to be able to go in and see. But since we got involved at the, Housing and Community Development Permit Center, we've been able to kind of also help, move some of these events out. People, event coordinators talk to us and say, hey, we're going to have this event. And then we find out there's 10 events happening in the same location, the same area. And we've been able to kind of guide folks and say, well, gosh, maybe you could, move the event over here, and that would help with traffic flow, and not everyone's, congregating at Pebble Beach on the same day at the same time. So it's become, really good. And I know it helps the See Monterey folks as well. And we do have some of your links on here too. Like if there's an event that doesn't have a link on its own, then we can guide them by using your information on cmonterey.com too. So we do love our partners at See Monterey.
Thank you, Dina, so much. And thanks for your great work on this map as always.
Thank you so much.
You mentioned our friends at Public Works, and we're very pleased to have Enrique Saavedra here to talk about road work, because there are a lot of road projects going on right now, and Car Week and road projects may not necessarily go together. Hi, Enrique.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Enrique Saavedra. I'm the Chief of Public Works here at the County of Monterey. And like we've been talking about, this is a great event for the county here as a whole. This time of year is very nice here. The summer is also our construction season typically in this area. So like you said, traffic and construction kind of go hand in hand sometimes. So what we're doing here in Monterey County, Public Works, we asked all our construction projects in the area of these events to kind of pause their work for this week. So we have a number of projects that will be paused during the week to kind of facilitate traffic or reduce the traffic congestion due to our work. There's still going to be congestion on the roadways. Like we said, we get a lot of visitors, more visitors than our roads can handle sometimes. So having, taking extra time to travel on a road would be helpful, and having some patience. Our roads can only handle so much traffic, it's patience will really go far. The same thing is if there's a road condition out there that requires attention for our crews, please let us know. Reach out to our office, and we'll try to address those, whether it be a down tree or pothole or things like that. We have crews that are working all next week and be able to respond to things of that nature. So again, hope everything goes well. And if there are any questions regarding our roads, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Thank you very much, Enrique. And you said you were kind enough to give the same information in Spanish for our viewers.
Sure. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Enrique Saavedra, trabajo aquí para el Departamento de Obras Públicas del Condado de Monterrey, y mi mensaje es que tenemos proyectos durante todo el año, y durante los veranos, cuando casi ocurren nomás los proyectos porque está mejor tiempo para trabajar. Pero a la vez entendemos de que este evento ahorita en estas semanas de agosto, donde el clima está bien para esos tipos de actividades con los carros, pero y puede haber un conflicto entre los proyectos y el tráfico. Entonces, ¿qué hacemos? Cada año posponemos nuestras actividades de construcción durante la semana de Car Week para así no, para reducir el congestionamiento en las carreteras debido nuestros proyectos de construcción. So, esperamos que este año vengan muchos visitantes, pero a la vez va a haber mucho tráfico y le pedimos al público que por favor tenga paciencia. Nuestras carreteras solamente pueden, con cierto número de vehículos, pero con paciencia, todo podemos hacer. So, es lo que les pido a la comunidad, que por favor tenga más paciencia la semana que viene con el tráfico.
Enrique, thank you so much for sharing this with us. I know there were a lot of people that were very concerned specifically about the roundabout work down in Carmel Valley, and they were concerned that during Car Week it could really create an issue. Can you talk a little bit about this, what's going to happen there or not happen during Car Week?
Sure. So the roundabout is right in the middle of Carmel Valley, at the intersection of Laurel's Grade and Carmel Valley Road. There's events literally next door to the project site occurring. So what we've done this year is, again, we paused the work. There still be the temporary construction measures for traffic out there, but there won't be any activity. You won't see any activity, construction activity next week. There might be a person here or there kind of to make sure things are still functioning properly, to kind of keep an eye on things, to monitor, but you won't see the typical activity work that you would on like you see on a construction job site. So that's the one that's, again, very, very important for us, and a very important, I guess, intersection for this event.
Thank you. I'm sure there's a lot of relief
Yeah.
on that one. Appreciate it, Enrique, very much. And we also want to talk, our last topic will be communication with the public. There is a lot of communication that's going to be going out to the community about safety, about traffic. And we're very pleased to have Justin Lin from our Department of Emergency Management and my colleague Maite Anaya here to talk about information that's going to go out to the public. Hi, Justin.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Justin. Maya, thank you for the introduction. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just so that people can get a little bit of visual. But the Department of Emergency Management, where I work, one of the things we do is support coordination of the Car Week Emergency Operations Center. And one of the core functions this year is also the Car Week Joint Information Center, or the JIC, to disseminate information to the public. And I'm going to focus on two key products. It's the Alert Monterey County system that provides alert and warning and safety message dissemination, as well as Ready Monterey County. Our goal is to make sure not only residents, workers, but also visitors can access this information. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So for alert and warning and the Alert Monterey County system, anyone coming in can do a quick text to 65513. And if they just text in Car Week as one word, they can get updates on road safety, road closures, wildfire safety, event safety, evacuations, the zero tolerance policy our colleagues and response partners from law enforcement have put together, as well as press releases. So it's a great way to get information. It'll go to SMS, it'll go to your text. The second one is readymontereycounty.org. We work together with our municipal partners and all of our response agencies to put together this website, and it aggregates information. So it includes alerts. And the important thing about both of these products is you can get them in English, Spanish, as well as a range of other languages, as long as you select those options. So these two products will make for a good Car Week and hopefully keep everyone nice and safe. And are there any questions?
Not at this moment, but are you ready for Maite to take over?
I'm going to pass it over to Maite. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Then we do have the slides in Spanish. If you can just keep sharing your screen with the Spanish slides, that would be great.
Will do. Maybe not. Sorry, 1 second.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pues buenas tardes. El Departamento de Manejo de Emergencias este año coordinará el Centro de Operaciones de Emergencia durante la Semana del Automóvil y también coordinará el Centro de Información Conjunta. Y esto asegura que la difusión de las alertas, advertencias y mensajes de seguridad lleguen a la comunidad. Y además es responsable de manejar la página de emergencias en readymontereycounty.org. Y para recibir alertas y advertencias durante la semana del automóvil, debe de enviar la palabra Car Week, como se muestra en la pantalla, al número 65513. Y los tipos de mensajes que recibirá incluyen seguridad vial, cierres de carreteras, seguridad contra incendios, seguridad del evento, evacuaciones, políticas de cero tolerancia y comunicados de prensa. Y esta es nuestra página de emergencias, readymontereycounty.org. Aquí podrá ver las últimas alertas de emergencia si hay incidentes actuales, mapa de emergencias y recursos adicionales. Y como pueden ver, también la página está en español. Así que estos son cosas muy importantes para su seguridad. Gracias. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Maite. Thank you, Justin. That is all we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us on the briefing. Thanks everyone for all the great information. We hope you have a safe and happy car week. See you next week.